If you like 3 block dolphin, grab a third block if you want. Don't have to. 3 block dolphin when we're against the wall. That's what a mask does for you. Yeah. Well, I definitely try to more with a mask. So sit comfortably. You all know that you can sit up on blankets if it helps you. You can sit cross-legged if you're more comfortable to stretch your legs out, do. And then just close your eyes. Start to feel your breath now, easily coming in and going out through your nose. Imagine that you're breathing equally through both sides of your nose if you can. See if you can feel those breaths deepen and even out your inhales and exhales if you can. And then start to ease your way into circles with your torso. Letting your exhalations bring you forward, your inhalations bring you back. Keep going in the same direction for a little bit and just be mindful however big you want to make the circles, or maybe you just barely want to let yourself move into smaller circles. And we're going to stop in reverse direction. So when you're ready, let yourself just start to reverse, moving off in the other direction with those circles, with the breath. And then the next time you're forward in those circles, stay there just for a breath. And then rise on all the way upright, releasing your hands on out beside you, fingertips lightly touching the ground. And we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And then we'll reverse. Inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms on back out and down. And now inhale your arms straight out from your shoulders. Flex your hands and let yourself just bend the elbows a little bit. And then press out into the heels of the hands, really letting yourself find the undersides of your arms. And then let your fingertips face down so that you come into the tops of the arms. And then let yourself circle your hands. You can do loose fists if you can. If it's better to keep your hands open, that's fine too. And then stop and reverse and go the other way. And then we'll release, let our arms come on down, shake your hands out a little bit. And we're going to swing our right leg around to this side. So what you want to try to do is just, you'll be more up on your left hip. You're not trying to force your right sit bone down towards the ground. Just let yourself open a little bit here. You can sit up on a blanket too if it's better, all right? And then we're going to twist towards this front thigh, towards our left thigh, and then come on forward. Now, how far you go is up to you. You may just stay up on your fingertips, keep your back long. You may decide you want to fold all the way over that leg, reaching out with your arms. You can always grab a block, put it underneath your head if you want to. Let yourself release there and stretch nice and long through that right side of the body. And perhaps the left side too, unless you need a little more support on that side. Good. One more breath. And now let your left arm come back a little bit. We're going to open to a side stretch. So you're supported here by your left hand or forearm, and you're going to open up into a side stretch here. Breathing into the right side. Let yourself imagine you're reaching that right knee farther away from you. One more breath. And then turn back again so that you're out over your thigh again, releasing for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to come on back up. Use your hands to help you. We're going to switch around to the other side. So bringing, again, this left knee kind of comes to where you feel okay to be. If you need the leg to be less bent, do. Take your time there. Get this leg where you're comfortable. And then twist towards that front thigh. And go ahead and bring yourself forward. Again, you may just want to stay up high. You may decide you want to walk out. You can grab a block, put your head on a block if you want. You can put your head to the floor if you want. Stretch the arms out if possible. Feel that nice sense of breathing into your low back. And then we'll bring the right arm back so we can shift over just to either come onto the hand or the forearm and open up into that side stretch there. Let the breath come in to expand the left ribs. Good. And then we'll turn back again to come down into that over the thigh, coming forward for a breath. And then walk your hands on back up. Let's go ahead and swing our legs on around in front of us from here now. So stretch your legs out long in front of you. Circle through your ankles a little bit, both directions, whether you go opposite or the same. It doesn't matter. And then let your feet do little windshield wiper blades, either this kind, in and out, or side to side, whatever, again, what feels good. Good. And then come on into legs nice and long here in front of you so that you've got your feet hips distance apart. Bring your hands on beside you into staff pose, pressing down, if your hands reach the floor, into your palms there. Let yourself lengthen up through the top of your head. Inhaling here. And on the exhale, twist to your left. Bring your left hand on around, maybe behind you, maybe just a little bit off to your hip. Take your time. Just open up here into a twist in the middle of the spine. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll come back through center. We're going to go all the way in the other direction. Feel your heels on the floor there. Draw them back towards you a little bit. Your legs are engaged. And one more inhale. And let your exhale bring you back around to center. And let your hands come behind you. Now, you can go flat to your palms if you want, or stay up on your fingertips. Draw your chest forward, whether you look up a little bit or keep your gaze forward, or maybe even look all the way up at the ceiling. If that feels good to your neck, it stretches out your throat, you can. And then we'll come on back up. Let's bring the soles of the feet towards each other. Leave your feet a little bit distant from you. So instead of trying to pull your feet in towards you, let yourself make kind of a diamond shape here in where your legs, that empty space there. And then come forward a bit. So let the hips release. You don't have to go far. You can come just a little ways. You can decide you want to release farther forward if that feels good in your hips. So just easing your way into releasing into the hips, into the inner thighs, waking everything up there. Good. One more breath. And then we'll slowly walk ourselves on back up. Bring your knees on up. Stretch your legs out. We're going to come on around towards our hands and knees. So you know, if you'd rather have a blanket, by all means, get yourself a blanket for underneath your knees or under your hands, or both if you need to, right? If your wrists bother you, remember you can come to fists. You can go down onto your forearms if you'd rather. And then get comfortable there. Let your hips shift a little bit, like you're wagging your tail. So shift your hips just a little bit side to side. And just let your head respond wherever it wants to go, right? And then come on back into neutral spine at center. And as you exhale, draw on up into your cat pose. And as you inhale, send your tailbone back and up and move back through to cow. Now, as you do the next couple of cat-cows, see if you can really feel the tops of the toes gently pressing into the floor. But enjoying that movement through the spine, tailbone leads, just easily flowing through the spine here. And finish off the one you're on. And we'll come to more neutral spine here now. And from here, let's shift back towards pose of a child. So let your big toes come together, knees apart. You don't have to go all the way. You know that. Depends on your hips, your knees. Take your time. Breathe into the low back here. Let your elbows soften, but hug them a little bit towards each other. And then on the next inhale, let's come back up to all fours. Curl our toes under, lift our knees up, and come back into down dog. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Walk a little bit if you want to, if that really helps you now to get into releasing into the backs of the legs, into your calves. Just be mindful. Take your time. Let the movement happen however you need. Imagine your whole body is yawning right now. That's what this dog can feel like you're just yawning with your body. And then we'll come on back down to the ground with our knees. We're going to step our left foot forward and our right foot back to come into lunge. So if you know you like your blocks, you can have your blocks under your hands, any height. And press the feet gently away from each other. Let yourself zip up your belly. Any height you want to be, remember. And we're going to switch and come to the other side. So however you like to switch, whether you step forward or back. And enjoy coming into that long lunge here with the back of the body really feeling lengthened. Good. And we'll switch again. From here, go ahead and ground your right hand. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Roll that left shoulder up. Come into a little twist here. Hand coming onto the low back, palm down. So allowing yourself here to reach out through the top of the head. Reach back through your inner heel. And then we'll bring our hand on back down. We're going to switch and bring that right foot forward, coming into lunge on the other side. Get situated there, and then when you're ready, ground your left hand to the right hip, to the low back, and rolling that shoulder up. Lengthening out through the spine here. Staying fairly level so that that twist is happening in the middle of your back. One more breath. And then we'll come on down with our hand. We're going to step forward and come on into our standing forward bend. Using whatever support you need. Hands on blocks, elbows above the knees if that's better. And then just breathe. Let yourself just come into those breaths. Full deep breaths. Allowing the breath to expand the ribs in all directions. Maybe imagining on your exhale that the top of the head gets closer to the ground. And we'll let our hands now come on back up to our hips. Bend our knees, press into our feet, rising on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bringing our hands down together in front of our hearts. Go ahead and let your chin come down towards your chest. Look at your hands there. Let the thumbs come in just to the place where you feel best in your shoulders. So you're not tensing up. It feels like your thumbs kind of want to plug in right there towards the breastbone at a certain level. And then on your next inhale, bring your chin on back up, parallel to the floor, lengthening up through the crown of your head. Thighs engaging upward, coming into your mountain pose. Equal between your feet. And then we'll let our arms unfold on down beside us and inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, bend the knees as you come forward, back to that standing forward bend. Let your next inhale help you find a nice long back, lengthen out. And we're going to step the right foot back to come into lunge. And inhale, exhale into your downward facing dog pose. Good. Equally pressing back out of your hands, elbows softly hugging towards each other. Let your head turn a little bit from side to side. And then come on back into center. Let your next inhale bring you on out to your plank. Engaging the belly, reaching your sitting bones down towards your heels. Bend your elbows a tiny little bit, coming towards each other. And then we'll lower down. If you want to put your knees down first, do. Elbows right by the ribs. Then let's come on into Sphinx pose, letting your forearms get parallel to each other. Elbows under the shoulders if you can. Bringing your gaze just a little forward between your hands there. Just enough to get a bit more of an uplift here. One more breath. And then we'll come on back down, hands by the chest. We're going to come back to down dog, whether you move your way through a half or a full push-up, or back to your hands and knees, and then back into your dog. Again, hands equal on the floor. Press back equally out of your hands. Elbows hugging gently towards each other. And then we'll bring our right foot forward to come into lunge, whether you need to put your left knee down to get there. And then all the way back into standing forward bend. So set up with your feet here. Lift your toes up for a second. You can even take your hands and kind of massage your toes a little bit. Wake them up just by squeezing each toe one at a time a little. Feel the four corners of your feet into the floor, arches lifting up. And then let the toes just release softly back down to the floor. Try not to grip. And come into your breaths wherever you like your hands to go. Go right ahead, breathing full, deep, even breaths. And then we'll bring our hands back up to our hips, bend our knees, rise up. Inhale the arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Let's reverse to inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms as you fold forward into your standing forward bend. Inhale, find that flat back. Really lengthen out, whether you put your hands on your shins or the floor or your blocks. And we'll step the left foot back and come into lunge. And inhale, exhale into that downward facing dog pose. So again, spread your fingers wide. Let's come on out to plank. And let's come into a little side plank. Now you can do a variation, putting your left knee down and using that foot like a kickstand if you want. Bringing your right hand to your right hip, stretching the right arm up. Or you can do a full side plank if you want. You can even lift that top right foot up a little bit, whether you're in full or that variation. And then we're going to come on back through plank. Find your plank here before we do the other side. And then we'll come to the right. So again, you shift to the right, knee down if you want. Right hand on the floor, left hand to the hip. Stretch the left arm straight up if you want. Lift that left foot up if you choose. Coming into your side plank for one more breath. And then we'll come on back to plank. So come on back to center. Walk a little bit. Bend a knee at a time here in your plank. And then come back to full. We're going to lower down. Elbows right by the ribs. And we'll come into a little cobra. You can stay low. Or you can press up higher if you choose. Elbows hugging in towards the ribs. Letting yourself open through the front body. And then we'll release to come on back down. We're going to make our way back to down dog from here, however you choose to get there. Walk a little bit. Go ahead and again bend one knee at a time. Take your time. If you want to move into the feet, even go to the top of one foot at a time. So you press down into your toenails, letting yourself release the tops of the feet. Good. And come back to your full dog. This time left foot comes forward to come into lunge. And then we'll come on back into our standing forward bend. Full deep breaths. And let your hands do whatever they kind of immediately want to do, wherever they want to go. Following your breaths all the way in, all the way out. And then we'll bring our hands up to our hips again, press into our feet, rising on up. Inhale the arms out and up. And on the exhale, let's come into a little chair pose with our hands to our heart. Let yourself come back into chair pose. Look down for a second. Just make sure your knees are lined up right over the center of the feet. Really feel the feet pressing into the floor. Imagine your inner thighs melting down. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forward. Let your inhale help you find a nice long back. Exhale, right foot back to lunge. Let's move with the breath. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Let your inhale bring you out to plank. Your exhale will lower you down. And inhale into your cobra of choice. Exhaling back into downward dog. Inhale. Exhale, right foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale into standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising up, arms flowing to the top. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forward. Let your inhale lengthen out your spine. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale, down dog. Let your inhale bring you to plank. Exhale will lower you down. Inhale into your cobra. And exhaling back into down dog. Inhale. Exhale, left foot forward. And inhale. Exhale into standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising up, arms all the way up. On the exhale, we're going to fold forward again. Let your inhale lengthen your spine. We're going to come into down dog now. So place your hands. Get back into dog however you choose. Spread your fingers. Hug your elbows towards each other. And let your breath just settle you down here in your dog. See if when you inhale, you can rise your heels way, way up. And when you exhale, you let them descend back down. So inhales, the heels rise up. And exhales, they descend back downward towards the ground. Good. And then finish off back in your dog. From here, we're going to bring our left foot forward. And we're coming up for Warrior 2. Have your blocks handy here by your mat, by your front of your mat there. Line up your heels. Let yourself feel really good about the length of your stance. Certainly the alignment of that front knee. Keep your left hand down on your thigh for a second and bring your right arm up. Look down now at your left hand or your left knee there. Let your neck release. You're looking down. You've got the right arm just up, really finding release through that side of the body. And then we're going to rise into Warrior 2 with both arms coming on straight out from the shoulders. Pressing the feet away from each other. Letting yourself bring your gaze out over the top of that left hand. Enjoy. One more breath. And now bring your left hand back down to your thigh like you were. Right arm up overhead. Look down and start to lean out over that left leg into your side angle. So you can put your hand on your thigh. You can let your forearm come to your thigh. Let the right pinky turn down. Enjoy drawing that left outer hip back a little bit so the knee's really lined up. One more breath here. And now let your right hand come to your right hip. Look down. Take your left hand and set it either on a block or on your leg. We're going to come right into triangle from here. So we're going to straighten our left leg out and extend our torso out. Keep looking at your left foot. Lift your left toes up for a second so you know you're not rolling to the outside of that foot. Let the toes come on back down, and then go ahead and start to turn to look forward so that you can extend, if possible, that right arm straight on up from your shoulder. If that bothers your shoulder, don't add the arm. So be where you can. Let yourself enjoy thighs engaging up towards the hips. One more breath. Beautiful. And then we're going to bend that left knee. We're going to come on back into Warrior Two, pressing the feet away from each other. And then hands come down. We're going to turn our feet more parallel for a wide-legged forward bend. Grab your blocks if you need them as you come on forward. Take your time. You can have your blocks there in front of you. You can have your hands on the floor. Bend a knee at a time. Let yourself easily, unless it hurts your knees, easily come into your inner thighs. And then come on back into center. If you need that long back, you're welcome to use your blocks however you want, under your forearms or under your head. You're more than welcome to let yourself stay lengthened out or fold forward to bring your hands more to between your feet. And then just be with your breath. Really keeping your awareness on your breath all the way in and all the way out. One more nice, full, deep breath here. And then we're going to take our time to walk back over to that left foot to come on back into lunge here. And we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. And let's come on out to plank. Take your time here. And then let's lower down, whether you want to put your knees down first or not. And let's come on into a little cobra. If you want to go on up into a full cobra, do. And then we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. And now you're on your own. If you'd like to come out and do another Kriya or another Chaturanga where you come through, coming through your Chaturanga, your push-ups, you can, or you can just move from down dog into up dog if you like those Kriyas. So finish off. Remember, you can always put your knees down and rest. You don't even have to keep going with any of that. And we'll meet back in down dog. So let yourself take your time. Find your dog. And then we'll bring the right foot forward. We're going to come on up for Warrior Two on the other side. Again, have your blocks handy if you know you like them for triangle. And line up your heels there. Let yourself, again, really get aligned. Get the length of stance where you feel really, really good. Right hand down on your thigh. Go ahead and look down at your knee and rise that left arm up for a second. Let yourself look down. Really feel the knee lining up. If you need to alter where you have your hand there, do. And then we'll just easily start to bring the arms into Warrior Two arms, looking right out over the top of that right hand. Feet equal in the mat. Equally reaching out through both sets of fingertips. Finding that strength in your Warrior Two. Now let's put our right hand back down on our thigh, bring our left hand up again, go ahead and look down and start to lean out over that leg into your side angle. So pressing either your right hand or forearm there into your leg above your knee and then turning if you want to look forward. You can always stay looking down too if that feels good on your neck. Just be mindful, one more breath. And then let your left hand come back to your left hip. Right hand is going to come down to ground. Remember, in triangle, you can put the hand where you want, on a block, on your leg. You can be either side of that foot. Take your time, and then come on into straightening that leg out. Lift your right toes up for a second. You can be looking at them. Look at your foot. Make sure you're not rolling to that outside of the foot there. And then toes come down. Start to turn your gaze, lifting that top arm up if you choose, right up above your shoulder. If you want to turn to look up at it, You can kind of imagine you're pushing forward a little bit with that left hand, which might enable you to be able to turn more easily to look up. Good. One more breath there. Thighs lifting up. Beautiful. We're going to bend the front knee, and we're going to come on back into Warrior Two, pressing those feet away from each other. And then we'll let our hands come down. We're going to turn our feet again more parallel. As you come forward, grab your blocks if you like them. Take your time. This time, once you get yourself around and you get set how wide you want to be, walk your hands over towards the right. Now, you can walk just with your blocks or walk your hands and hold on to the outside of your right ankle if you choose. And then bring your right hand up to your right hip. You can roll the shoulder up a little bit if that feels good. And then bring that hand down, walk on back through center. And again, you can use your blocks and shift just a little to the left. You can walk all the way over if you want to hold on. Left hand to the outside of the left ankle, right hand on top of that for a breath. And then when you're ready, release that left hand up to your hip. You can roll the shoulder up if you want a little bit more of a little twist happening there. And then we'll come on back, bringing the hands on back into center, whether they're on the blocks or not. And now turn your toes out a little bit. Bend both your knees. It's like you're in goddess, but you're down with your hands, right? So the knees are out over the center of the feet here. And then straighten your left leg out so you shift a little more to that right. And then come back through center and then straighten the right leg out. Let the left knee stay bent. So do that a couple of times if you can. Let yourself just straighten one leg out at a time with your toes turned out. It's a little bit different feeling than when the toes are parallel, the feet are parallel. And then come on back into center. Bend the knees a little more. And then straighten up and turn your toes on back forward so that now you're back more to parallel with your feet. And release to where you're comfortable to be here. So whether you need to stay with that long back, remember you can always put your elbows above your knees if you need support like that. You can hold your ankles if you want. Put your hands between your feet. Just let yourself follow your breaths again now. So that's all you need to do. Watch your breaths coming in and going out. One more nice full deep breath. Good. And then we're going to walk our hands back out. We're going to walk back over to that right foot to come on back into lunge. And we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. Walk to the tops of the feet a couple of times just to give your feet a nice release there. 1 foot at a time. Toenails press into the floor. And then when you're ready, you can either come out for vinyasas or kriyas. You can put your knees down. You can stay in dog. Remember, follow what feels really good to your body today. Paying attention to how you feel instead of how you think you should feel, right? And then finish off. Let yourself meet back in down dog. And from here, we're going to bring our left foot forward. We're coming up for Warrior One. Have both your blocks handy here by the front of your mat. Get yourself set with that back foot at that angle that feels good as you bring your shoulders around square. And then bend that front knee. Take your time. Really get yourself into the length of stance where you feel fine in this back leg, your back knee. Feel that lift here in the belly so you open up through the front of the right hip here. And then let's inhale our arms forward and up. Let the elbows bend. Clasp your hands. Send your pointer fingers up. And then come ahead into drawing the elbows in towards your face and lift the elbows up just a little bit. Now you can go straight or armed if you want, or you can keep your elbows bent. Inhaling up the front of the body. Exhaling down the back of your body. Good. One more breath. And then let your gaze come forward. Bring your hands right down through the midline to come in front of your chest, in front of your heart. And we're going to straighten the front leg out now, getting our hips squared. So if you need to adjust the back leg to do that, do. And let's bring our hands behind us. Clasp your hands together here. Coming into pyramid pose. So thighs lifting upward as you start to make your way forward. It doesn't matter how far you go with your hands back like this. You can stay up higher. You can go more parallel to the floor. Kind of imagine a little bit almost like you're leading with your heart. If you like to fold over the front leg, you're more than welcome to. You can release your arms off your back too if that feels good. And then when you're ready, let your hands come on down, whatever surface you like to use, your blocks or the floor. Readjust your stance if you need to. Sometimes it feels good to get longer or less long, right? And lengthen your spine out here. Feel your thighs lifting up towards your hips. One more breath. And now have your blocks in your hands. We're going to bend the front knee. Find lunge for a second. And then launch your way on forward, lifting that right leg back up into warrior three, pointing the toes down towards the ground. Bend your left knee a little bit. Actually, bend your right knee too. So both knees are a little bent. The right foot's kind of putting like a footprint on the ceiling feeling. And then come into both legs long. And see if you can shift to bring your left hand up to your low back. And you can put it on your low back, palm up, so that you check that you're not lifting up into that right hip. Your hips are level. And then from there, bring the hand on back down. And we're going to bend both knees. Bring your right knee in by your left knee. Bring your nose like towards your knee a little bit. And then inhale, come back into that warrior three. So exhale, bend the knees. Let your head come in towards your right knee as you bring it in. And then inhale, stretch it back. And then one more time. Exhaling, bringing yourself, you're rounding into your back. And then inhale back to warrior three. See if you can reach your left arm forward from here. One more breath. Good. And we're going to step back into lunge from here. So take your time. Come on back into that lunge. And then we'll come on back into downward facing dog pose. Now you're on your own for sure. Do what feels good. If you want to come in for planks, do. If you don't want to do the back bend, don't. Maybe it'd feel better to do a child's pose. You know, you can lift legs up, open hips. Just be mindful, let it feel good. Good, whatever brings relief, right? We're going to go ahead and meet back in down dog. So take your time, bring yourself back into your down dog, and we'll bring the right foot forward. We're coming up for that warrior one. So again, remember you want your blocks handy. You want to get your shoulders around square to that short edge of your mat. Easily. Feel that alignment of that front knee. And then let's inhale the arms out and up, overhead. Clasp your hands. Send your pointer finger up. Bend your elbows a little bit. And then imagine the elbows are lifting up a little bit, which will bring your gaze up as well. There's like the sense of a bar at the base of your shoulder blades. You're lifting up and over. And you can keep the elbows bent. You can come into straighter arms. Feel the elbows hugging in a little bit. Let yourself enjoy. Inhaling up the front of the body. Exhaling down the back. One more breath. And then we'll release to bring the hands behind us, and we're going to straighten out. So again, if you need to adjust that back foot to get your hips squared off, do. And then as you come forward, thighs are engaging upward. Take your time. You can stop anywhere you want. So if you feel like you're going to lose control, don't go any lower. Let the legs work as far as you want to go. If you feel good to fold over the leg, you can. If you want to bring your arms off your back, it's not necessary. Go where you can be. And then when you're ready to bring your hands down to whatever surface you like to use, if again, you need to kind of readjust. Sometimes once you get your hands down, you want your stance to get a little bit different. Feet are fully into the floor, both of them. Feel your arches lifting up, 4 corners of the feet reaching down. And just breathe, lengthening out through the spine here. Good. One more breath. And now we'll bend that front knee. Come into lunge briefly. Get your blocks, remember, because they're going to be forward and you're going to launch yourself onto those blocks. And turn your left toes down into that warrior 3. Take your time. Let yourself see if you can put your right hand up on your low back. Turn the palm up towards the ceiling. So now you're leveled out there. And then go ahead and bring your hand down. Bend both your knees just a little bit here at first. So it's like you're putting a left footprint on the ceiling there. And then stretch long. Nice inhale. And when you exhale, you're going to bring that knee in towards your face, rounding up a little bit. When you inhale, stretch back. Nice warrior 3. So exhale, curling that knee in. Both knees are bent. Inhale, come on back again into your warrior 3. And then one more time, exhaling, rounding into the back. Inhale, come on back. Reach your right arm forward if you can. Coming into that warrior 3 there. Good. And then we'll bring the hand back down. We're going to come on back into lunge from here. And we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. Walk a little bit. And then let your feet come a little closer together. Lift your right leg up in the air. Bend the right knee and open the hip. Look under your right arm if you can. Imagine somebody's bringing that right knee towards where the wall meets the ceiling. And then bring that foot on back down. And we're going to do the left side. Left leg up. Bend the knee. And open the hip like you're stacking your left hip on top of your right. Good. And then come on back down with that foot. We're going to lower our knees down, and we're going to come into child's pose. So however far you want to go into child's pose, take your time. Breathe into your low back. Let your elbows be soft. Good. One more breath. And then come on up, curl your toes under, and then see if you can just shift back, walk your hands back towards your feet. So you're up into standing forward bend. Adjusting your feet here. Take your time. Let yourself release and breathe. Feel the sit bones right over your heels so you're not shifting your weight back. And then we'll bring our hands on up to our hips and bend our knees and rise up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, come on into that mountain pose easily. Bringing your gaze on forward, feeling equal between your feet. If you need to shift around a little bit, do. You can always sway a little bit and get yourself centered out. Imagine that central plumb line of the body. Tailbone dropping down. Feel connected there with your hands. Grounded through your feet. And then we'll unfold our arms, shake everything out, do whatever you need to do, and we are going to bring our mats into a wall. So we're going to practice a little dolphin. So those of you at home, we're going to try, some of us are going to use 3 blocks here at the studio, some of us not. So it's optional whether you turn and have your heels towards the wall or you do your dolphin freestanding. Those of you who do want to try the 3 blocks and you have them at home, the bottom block goes that way, the highest height, and the top blocks turn to the lowest height, right? So that they stick out a little bit from that bottom block, all right? If not, you can have your dolphin be here so that you either have your heels at the wall or you just practice a little bit here. Or if you like that support of the blocks, then you turn to get your fingers wrapped around that bottom block, room between the block and the wall. Elbows are underneath your shoulders, and then you can lift up and you're supported. You can press into those blocks. It's really like allowing yourself to find release between your shoulder blades. So if you do have the blocks, you're still pressing into your forearms, but you're also feeling the blocks pressing there between the shoulder blades. You can keep your knees bent. You're more than welcome to lift a leg up. If you're here and it feels good to bring one leg up, you can. And you can even go up into forearm stand if you want to, where you have both legs up. So take your time. You can come down anytime you want to. If you decide you want to try to come on up, and you can use the wall there behind you to support you. And you know, when you get ready to rest, you rest how you choose. You can rest in child's pose. You can sit up if that feels better, so that you have your head back up above your heart. So just be mindful. Take your time. Don't overdo. If you have your feet at the wall, you can do the same thing. You can lift one leg up the wall, or you can lift both legs up if you want. Good. Nice. So finish off so that you can come down and rest however it feels best to you. So you can come down if you want to. You can come into child's pose. You can sit on your heels if that feels better. Make that little bowl. Let yourself sit to where you're very, very easily allowing your spine to align itself. You just have to pay attention to your own knees, your hips. Good. And we're going to make our way to lie on our bellies from here. So letting yourself come on down, let your feet go back towards the wall behind you if you have one there at home. And then take your time, let your forehead rest there on your hands stacked up, if that's okay for your neck. Breathe into your low back and let your feet just do heels in and then out. It's like you're just kind of flip-flopping your feet. Heels go in and heels go out. Letting the legs then start to release and breathe. And then we'll release our arms down alongside us. Turn your palms down towards the ground. Feel your forehead there on the floor. And then as you inhale, let your head barely come off the floor. Just your head, man. It makes you realize how heavy your head is. And then let yourself release the forehead back down. And inhale your legs up. Both legs a little bit. And then let them come down. And now the next time you inhale, let the head and the legs both float up. And then see if your hands can float up as well. Reaching into your locust pose here. Think of reaching back as far as you can with your fingertips and your toes. Point your feet. Let yourself feel good about that for a second. And then release and come on back down. Take a breath or two here into your low back. And then come on to your right forearm parallel to the front edge of your mat and bend your left knee. Now, you can keep your head down if you want on your forearm. Flex through that left foot and stay right there. Or you can come up more with your upper body and reach back with your left hand for half bow and get hold of the top of your foot. You're more than welcome to bring that right arm more underneath towards your waist if you want to go up higher. And that is totally optional. One more breath. And then we're going to come on down with that left arm being parallel now to the front edge of the mat. You can put your forehead on your arm. Bend your right knee, flex your right foot. Stay there for a breath. And then again, if you want to come up and let yourself reach back with your right hand, if the left forearm coming more underneath you helps, you can draw it more down towards your waist and then press the foot gently into your hand. Good. One more breath here in your half bow. And then we'll come on down. Nice long arms again. We're going to inhale into that locust pose one more time, reaching fingertips and toes back towards the wall behind us. And then we're going to come down, and we're going to bend both our knees. Now, you might just want to lift your head up, and that can be your bow pose right there. Flexing through the feet, both knees bent. You can reach back, get hold of the top of your feet or your ankles. You can press your feet into your hands, come up a little higher if you choose for bow pose. And then we're going to release and come down, and we're going to come back towards child's pose from here. So take your time. You know you can stay somewhat forward on your forearms. Release to where you can be. Let your arms do what feels the most comfortable. So soft overhead, or bringing your arms back alongside your legs there with the palms up. And nice, easy, full, deep breaths. Good. One more breath. And then we'll bring our hands back by our knees to press up, and we're just going to bring our legs all the way around in front of us. So just taking your time, stretching your legs on out in front of you. Move around a little bit again with the feet, the ankles, the legs. And then let's all do right leg forward and bring your right heel more to the midline of your body. So rather than the leg being directly forward of your hip, it just comes in a little bit so you can easily cross your left foot over to the outside of that leg somewhere, either above or below your knee. Now, before you even think of twisting, just lengthen up from here. So you can use your hands here to kind of draw the thigh in a little bit towards your ribs and maybe get a little more up into the buttock there. Let yourself breathe. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to twist to our left, bringing the left hand behind us. Now, your hand can stay on your right knee. You can wrap your crook of your elbow onto that knee if you want. Or you can bring the arm all the way across to the outside. But try not to lean back into the left hand, right? You're lengthened up. You're really being held up by your spine. That hand is just barely touching back there, if you can. Sometimes lowering this left foot down enables you to do that better, right? So be where you can be. One more breath. And then use your belly to bring you on back around into center. And then from here, if you can, come into half cow face, crossing this leg so that the knees are pretty much lined up. Or you can come into a figure four if it's better. You have to, it depends on your hips, how you're built. And then let yourself think of coming forward from there, which is an intense hamstring stretch in that right leg. So take your time. You can reach down for your toe if you want. Let yourself take your time. Stay up as high as you need. Use whatever support you need. Enjoy. And then bring your left hand to the outside somewhere of that right leg or foot and bring your right hand to your right hip, and you're going to come into twisting now, bringing that right shoulder back and letting yourself find a little more on the outside of that right leg. Good. One more breath. And then let yourself come back forward again. And then we're going to slowly rise on up. And we're going to stretch that left leg out. Shake your feet out a little bit if you need to. And we're going to bring the left leg a little more heel to the midline so that when we cross over, we can let ourselves really take our time, lengthen up. So take your time. You're feeling, again, that just gentle drawing the thigh in towards the ribs here, lengthening up, finding space in your spine as you inhale. And as you exhale, we'll twist. Again, right hand comes behind you, so you can decide, do you want your crook of your elbow? Do you want to bring your arm across to the outside? Again, you're trying not to lean back into that back hand. So lowering the foot down if you need to. Take your time, lengthening upward. Good. One more breath here. And then as you come back around, use your belly to help you. And again, if you can cross thigh over thigh, do. If you need to do figure 4, you can. And then take your time to ease your way a little bit forward. And man, it's an intense hamstring stretch. So be mindful. Feel the heel on the floor. Draw the heel back towards you. Let yourself enjoy finding where you can be. It's not important how far you go. If you want to reach towards your ankle or your foot, you can. And then bringing your left hand up to your left hip as you hold the outside of that left leg somewhere and bring yourself on back with your left shoulder. Coming into twist there. Finding a little more on the outside of that leg. And then we'll release and come back forward again. And then bring yourself on back up. Bring your legs on out and stretch them out wide for a second. But let yourself kind of lean back. You can be on fingertips or you can lean back onto your palms down. And then just draw your chest forward a little bit here. Open up through the front of the body. You can look up if that feels good. It depends on you. Don't add stress or tension to your neck. Let it feel good. Good. And then we'll come on upright. Now, you can use your hands to help you stay upright and be right there. If you feel like coming forward works for you, you can let yourself come forward, whether you have your hands on your legs or hands on the floor in front of you or use a block. Take your time. Let it feel good. Coming forward with that long back. Nice. Easy breaths. Good. One more breath. And then let's come on back up. And we're going to bring ourselves around to lie down. Before you lie down, though, get a block handy so that you can reach over and get it. So come on down to your back. Once you get down there, bend the knees. Bring the knees on into the chest when you're ready. And let the knees either circle or go side to side. Whatever feels best to release your back. Just letting yourself release however feels good. Hug the knees in if you want. Good. And then stretch your legs up for a second in the air and do a little cross-country ski kind of movement. Back and forth with the legs. And then go ahead and bend your knees back in. Bring your feet to the floor. We're going to get our blocks. And we're going to bring our blocks underneath our sacrum into a supported bridge. So if you know supported bridge doesn't feel good for you, you can always just be on a blanket instead of up on a block, right? So you want to get to where you're not hanging off the block. You're fully supported there. And then bring your right leg on up in the air. And then see if you can bring your left leg up too. Bend both the knees a little bit. Let yourself widen the feet out, the legs out a little bit into that wide angle the way we were sitting, but you can use your hands to kind of support the outside of your legs if you don't want the full weight of the legs. And then bring the feet on back up again. And now, as we exhale, we're going to lower our right leg down. Now, as you lower it down, keep really strong in the belly and the low back so your pelvis doesn't move around. And then when you're ready to rise it back up, inhale and let the foot come on back up. So we're going to keep switching legs. We're going to exhale, lowering one leg down. And you can go as far as you want, as long as you don't feel your pelvis like kind of losing it, right? And then your inhales bring it up. So take your own time. So try to go slowly, though. Try not to rush through it. Really take your time to enjoy feeling how the belly is engaging, the low back is engaging. If you like doing both legs, go for it. So if you want to lower both legs and it feels really fine to you, sometimes you get to that point, though, where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really going to lose it. You can just rise your legs back up. So take your time. And then finish off whatever it is you are doing there. Bring your knees on in a little bit towards your chest. And then separate your knees. Bring the soles of the feet towards each other. Now you can hold on to your shins. In this Baddha Konasana here, you don't have to reach and hold your feet because you're up. It's a different feeling, but just let the inner thighs release there. And then bring the knees on back in. Bring the feet to the floor. And try, once the feet are down, extending your right leg out long with the toes and the knees of that right leg facing up. So you're coming into opening through a little into the front of the right hip. And then bring the right foot to the floor. Extend the left leg down long. Let yourself enjoy now just opening through the front of the left hip. And it is optional. You can not do this part at all. You can do both legs if it feels good to do both legs or not, right? You can feel yourself. If that feels like too much, don't do it. And then we'll bring our feet back in. We're going to lift up slowly off the block and take it out and come on down to the floor. Once you get down, do a little pelvic tilt or two. Let yourself, as you exhale, curl the tailbone up. Feel the low back coming into the floor. A couple of times, almost like you're rocking your pelvis a little bit, releasing. And then come on back to neutral. Bring your right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg down long. And use your left hand to draw the knee over so that you can bring that knee across in towards a little twist. Let it be just an easy releasing twist. And then come on back into center with the knee. We're going to bring the left leg in, stretch the right leg out. Bring your right hand to that left knee now and draw the knee across the body, across the midline as far as you want to go. And again, just let it feel really released. And then come on back into center and do whatever your body right now wants to do, right? So if you need a happy baby pose, if it sounds good to you to stretch your body out long, if you need any other movement or pose, anything at all, anything that's going to help you feel more comfortable, more easy about getting into Shavasana. That's what you want to do right now. So you all who are here at the studio know that I would be happy to bring you anything you need for support to help you be more comfortable. So wave at me if the idea of having a little more support feels good. I'd be happy to bring you bolsters, blankets. Remember, everything gets cleaned here after we use them at the studio. So let yourself just mindfully now feel the ground underneath you. Feeling that firm support really does help you to find the contrast of releasing into the firmness of the floor. So if you can, just letting yourself now accept your breaths in and out. Feeling that wave of your breath which will definitely allow your body and your mind to find a quieter place. So just easily letting yourself give your mind and your body these few minutes, finding those quieter places, and allowing yourself to completely and fully relax. yourself now. Start to feel your breath coming in and going out more fully, even becoming aware of feeling the physical movement of the body as you breathe in and out. Take your time, feel those deeper breaths start to bring energy back to you. Fingers and toes starting to wiggle and move a little bit, your hands, your feet. You can move up into your arms and legs however you need to move, stretching or bending. Really take your time. Stay on your back if that's better for you, or you can roll to either your right or your left side. If coming into a soft fetal position on your side helps you take a little bit longer to easily adjust. And when you do feel like coming up to sitting feels good to you, just be mindful. Float your way up if you can. Let yourself feel the hips get comfortable in the way that you're sitting, however that might be. Letting the head start to come to rise up there to be on top again, up above your heart. Feeling your breath coming in and going out. And on your next exhale, letting your hands come gently to meet there in front of your chest, in front of your own heart. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste. Happy Friday, everybody. Even though it is Friday the 13th, which I forgot to say at the beginning, this was a flow class on November 13th, Friday.